What's up and welcome back to my YouTube channel. Today I'm going to be talking about, or rather answering some questions about a video I did forever ago on how to fill hair. Oh my gosh, it's been about 2 years since I made this video. Pretty sure I'm pretty pregnant in this particular video. I'm speaking about the blonde to brunette how to fill hair video, and I had tons of questions. As a matter of fact, it's one of my most popular videos on this channel, so if you want to check that out, head to the description down below and there'll be a little link that you can go watch it from there. But before I answer these amazing questions that lots of people asked me, and hopefully you learned something from this video, make sure you give this video a like and hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications while you're at it. It just helps me build up the algorithm. I would love to grow my channel a little bit more, and make sure you share this channel with a friend. All right, so now let's get right into this video. Alright, so let me give you a little recap before we even dive into the questions. So if you saw the video, or maybe you didn't, my client started off with super blonde, over-processed hair. And when I say over-processed, I'm talking damage and lots of splotchiness and tons of regrowth and lots of stuff to fix. And overall, she was just ready to transform her hair into a more healthier state. And to get it there, we needed to color back to a color that was a little bit more closer to her natural, but she still wanted to have a little bit of fun with it. So first things first, I took this over-processed blonde hair and filled it. If you don't know what filling is, it's basically replacing the pigments that were lost during the lightening process. So when you lighten the hair and you're basically exposing all of those yellow and orange tones, we're actually getting rid of them the lighter we go, which is why you can get to really white platinum if you can get it to a level 910. So in this case, if we were to just throw on a dark hair color right on top of that level 9 hair that has hardly any yellow or copper or red pigments in it, what can happen is it can get really muddy and translucent looking and just splotchy because you're dealing with porosity issues, which that is a whole different topic. But nonetheless, you want to make sure that you fill the hair properly, and a golden rule here is to fill it 2 levels at a time. So if you're starting at a level 9 and you're going to, let's say, a level 3, you're going to want to fill 2 levels at a time. So start filling it with a level 7 and then fill it with a level 5, and then you can do your final shade with a level 4 or even a 3. Now your fill formula can change depending on what you want your final end result to be. So just keep in mind, the warmer end result you want, the more you can kind of, play around with those copper and red shades as a filler. But if you're trying to venture off more into the cooler side of the family, you're probably going to want to use a little bit less red or no red at all, and just keep your formula more gold with a little bit of copper base. Let's get right into these questions. All right, so question number 1. This is from Andrea or Andrea. I'm not sure if it's Andrea or Andrea. I always mess these names up. What products do you recommend after transitioning from blonde to brunette? Thank you so much, Andrea or Andrea. This is a really great question. It's really important that anytime you are getting a major hair color transformation, that you are taking care of it actually before your hair appointment and especially afterwards. So some things that you're going to want to do is to make sure that you are replacing the protein and the moisture in the hair before your appointment and even after. So a lot of people actually don't know this, but protein and moisture actually fight for the same exact space inside of the hair. So if you over proteinize the hair, what can happen is it starts to feel dry and brittle, and if you over moisturize the hair, it just starts to feel like almost kind of slimy, and it doesn't have any structure to it. You want a nice balance. So if you are dealing with porosity issues and you have really damaged hair like this particular client, you're going to want to probably start off with doing 1 protein treatment, or maybe even 2 protein treatments a week, and then start to incorporate the moisturizing treatment the week after. So 2 protein and 1 moisture. And then once you get into this nice rhythm and your hair starts feeling really great, we can start maybe doing half and half, and then eventually, hopefully your hair is feeling amazing, and we can start weaning you off the protein because it's not as needed, unless of course you're going to be doing some bleach. Keep in mind, anytime you're doing lightening services, you are breaking down bonds and making the hair on the weaker side, so it's very important to replace those bonds or to strengthen them, and that's where the protein is going to come into place. Some of my go-to favorite products that are kind of a no-brainer are Olaplex, or even Moroccan Oil has a great repair line, and even Kenra has a really nice nourishing mask that I highly recommend to all of my clients. By the way, all of these products are available on my online shop at rebelfemmeshop.com. P.S. There is a special coupon code that you can use. It's in the description of this video. Question number 2. This one comes from Caroline Crawford. So this looks beautiful. Can I ask for an estimate of how much time this process took and about how much it would be for a client? I get asked all the time price points, and my prices change all the time. Hello, inflation. But on a real note, what I would go about charging for something like this is simply a fill service, a color service, a treatment, maybe 2, and a haircut for sure. Everybody's prices are going to be a little bit different based on their skill set and experience level and lots of other factors to consider, but generally here in Southern California, what I would charge here is $110 for the filler, and then another $110 for the color service, and my haircuts start at $80, and then to do an Olaplex treatment or even a mask under the dryer can range between $30 to $50. So hypothetically speaking, you can guesstimate that this type of service can cost about $350. But let's be real here, this is a color correction, and even though it might look like a simple service, you really need to know what exactly you're doing when you're formulating, which is why you should go to a hairstylist, an experienced hairstylist, a color correction experienced hairstylist. Question number 3. This one comes in from Judita Pink. P.S. I'm really sorry that it's taken me a year to answer this question for you, because I just realized that it's been that long. So hopefully this answers it for you. So Judita writes, if I need to fill in only highlights and balayage part before coloring darker brown, can I color all of my hair with the filler, or should I separate and fill only the bleached stripes? So this is a really great question. I get asked all the time, does it matter exactly where I'm filling? The answer is yes and no. If you are trying to add in dimension throughout the hair, then absolutely it's gonna matter exactly where you place that fill formula. However, if you're going for an overall solid look, at the end of the day, you can apply the filler honestly from roots to ends, and it's not gonna matter, because the virgin hair, you're not per se needing to fill that. It doesn't need any filler, so it's kind of almost a waste and irrelevant. For me, I would mix up just enough to apply only on the areas where it's lightened, but don't pick apart the hair and try to be too specific. It's really unnecessary. You honestly can start at that line of demarcation and apply your fill formula, let it process, rinse it out, and then apply your final color. Question number 4. This question comes from someone, I'm not gonna even try to pronounce the name, so I'm gonna apologize. Anomani? I'm a product of immigrant parents, so like I can't pronounce anything when I'm trying to say it in English. So she writes, so according to the Kenra color chart, if I'm currently a level 7N, 8N ombre, and I want to be a 3N, should I add red or orange tones, and how do I know which level of red or orange tones to add? So this is a great question. So if you're starting at a level 8 per se, I would always start off knowing that you're going from the highest level and you're wanting to go to a 3. Remember, you're gonna wanna go 2 levels at a time. So if you're starting with an 8, we're gonna try to fill with a level 6 or even a 5, and even going from an 8 to a 3 is a pretty steep jump, so I almost would add in a secondary filler if necessary, and I would determine that after doing the first fill. If it washed out really hollow and it just doesn't look like it took too well, I would still do the secondary one. So once you determine how many fills you need to do, something to keep in mind is that your end goal is to be a 3N, and 3N is natural. unless you're trying to be a 3 neutral, which is ashy. But nonetheless, a 3N doesn't have a whole lot of red in it. So I almost would omit the red altogether, even though we're going from an 8 to a 3. So I would primarily keep my fill formula somewhere around those copper and gold zones. Something to keep in mind is that when you are doing a filler, you're gonna wanna use a demi-permanent shade or something that is ammonia-free, something that's super gentle on the hair, because you're probably dealing with compromised hair. So what you're gonna use is a demi-permanent and start off using a level 6 copper and gold. See how that turns out, and if you're gonna need a secondary filler, I probably think you're gonna need one, and then I would go in with a secondary filler at a level 4, primarily gold with a little bit of copper. That's just what I would do, and then I would finish off with my 3N shade. Lots of variables here. This is me not really seeing the hair for what it is, but based on what you told me, that's kind of what I would guesstimate that I would do. All right, and question number 5. This one comes from Zach Miller, and he writes, is it possible to do both processes in a single process? And the answer is absolutely. You can definitely do that. There's lots of times where I've wanted to do a dimensional highlight, and if you want to check out that video, actually I have one where I'm doing a fill and a low light and highlight all at the same time. You can check that one out right up here. But the way I would address this is apply my fill formula, for example, in low lights, and I would put that in a foil, let it process. When it's been about 15 minutes or so with my demi-permanent, I usually take a towel, wipe it completely clean, and stick a brand new foil in there and put my final formula right on top. So there's lots of times where I have done that, or I'm in a pinch for time and I just towel dry the color right on off of the head and then put my final color on. Keep in mind, I like control, and for the maximum amount of control, it's always best to process each and every color separately, and I like to apply all of my demi-permanents and permanent hair color on dry hair. Again, lots of different variables. If I want a sheer finished or saturated finished, completely up to you, but that's generally what I do, is apply everything on dry hair for that saturated finish when doing a color correction. All right, so that's it for this tutorial. If you want to check out the video, the original video that I posted 2 years ago, it's my most popular video ever, you can check that one right up here or in the description of this video. And if you have more questions pertaining to filling hair, jot them down below and I'll be sure to give you a shout out. And then also hopefully maybe I'll make a whole new video on filling hair, depending on what questions you give me down below. Also, let me know if you like these types of videos, because I'm totally down to do more of these and use my really cute little pink backdrop. How fun is that? So I really hope you enjoyed this hair tutorial. If you did, please give this video a thumbs up. Make sure to subscribe, share this video with a friend, and comment down below what your favorite part of this video was and if you had an aha moment. Be sure to head on over to morellamanelli.com and sign up for my email list where you can get more free education right to your inbox. You can also follow me on my other social channels like Instagram, Facebook, and TikTok, all under Morella Manelli. And if you love listening to podcasts, be sure to check out my podcast called Hairbnb. It's a podcast where I help hairstylists just like you simplify color, become confident in styling, and help you achieve your business goals. And finally, be sure to check out my other hair tutorials right here on this channel, and I will see you next time.